Bronx Baseball and Beer. I am Scottso. This is episode number 74. We have an awesome show tonight. Notter, unfortunately, couldn't make it. He's got some stuff going on, but we got a special guest in the house. My man, Pots and Pans.
What's going on?
Dylan Fryer is in the house. My son, he's here to talk baseball. We're gonna grill him on some baseball stuff, but he's pretty knowledgeable. He's gonna bring it. I don't know if you're quite at the Notter level yet, kid, but we're gonna find out. We got Joey Stats on the ones and twos, and we got JT back in the production studio. We are ready to rock. Episode 74, the Wildcard episode. Let's talk about it.
SeatGeek. Our first date was at a basketball game.
Just what every girl wants, right?
What? What's more romantic than two people sharing their passion?
No, you're right. It was actually pretty romantic.
And we had great seats. Remember?
We even made it to the kiss cam. That's when I knew it was for real.
I won twice that night.
Get your seat tickets to sports, concerts, and live events. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
Use code BronxBBB.
It's about time we got to work. There we go.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Bronx Baseball and Beer, episode 74, the Wild Card edition. I am Scottso Fryer. Got my man Dylan Fryer in the house. My son, he's here to talk some baseball tonight. We are ready to go. He's rocking the Harrison Bader tonight, 22. It's actually an old Roger Clemens jersey, but who knew unless I told you. So it's actually two jerseys in one. We got the Harrison Bader in the house. We're going to talk a little bit of Yankees. And Dill, we've been remiss if we did not talk about the GOAT, the man, the myth, the legend, now a legend, Yankee legend, Aaron bleeping Judge.
Yep.
So
right there.
Listen, if you've been living under a rock over the last few days, Aaron Judge hit home run number 62. He became the American League home run king. And I say American League because if you didn't know, the record in the books with an asterisk is 73 by Mr. Barry Bonds. But Aaron Judge is only the fourth person to ever reach the 62 plateau. It was also done by Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. They both did it twice. But hey, 62 is a pretty good milestone. Everybody's out there talking, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It is actually a big deal because only 4 people have ever done it in the history of Major League Baseball. So it was kind of cool because it's been going on. What did it go, like a week? 8 games, I think it went.
It was too long.
It was too long from 61. He hit in Toronto. Yeah. And then we went another 8 games, right? Waiting for Judge. You know, people were complaining. ESPN was cutting into college football games.
People weren't happy about that.
Yeah, people were very unhappy about this. Listen, I get it, but it's a big deal. People are like, oh, it's not a big deal to me. It is, though. If you're a baseball person, it's baseball history. No matter what side you're on, whether you believe that 73 is the record or 61 was the record, it's still a big deal.
It's not just baseball history; it's sports history, right?
It is
something
absolutely.
that doesn't come around very often. And if you don't get that, well, then I question your ability to think, right? Because it's ESPN and it's sports network,
right?
It's for all sports, not just football. I understand they're broadcasting football, but at the same time, this is something that it's going to go down in the history books, especially in the Yankees, especially on the northeastern side of the United States. So, I mean, it's a big deal, and I see why the ESPN wants to broadcast it while broadcasting football. For sure.
Right. I mean, listen, the football people are unhappy, and it wasn't like they cut out of the football game. You couldn't see the football game.
Right.
It was 2 or 3 minutes interrupting with a split screen, so you could see Judge get walked.
Right.
And you could still watch the football game if you weren't interested in it. It was okay. It was 2 minutes of your time. It's not that big of a deal. First world problems. All right, get over it. It's happened. It's over. It's done. The season's over. He's finished at 62. They gave him the last game off. They split 4 games with the Rangers. They ended up with 99 wins, which
it's unfortunate.
For the way they started, for where they finished, it was kind of lame. I figured they'd win at least 100 games, but they finished at 99. I'm okay with it. They're 99 and 63. That's still a pretty great season. Only a couple other teams won 100 games. The Mets, the Astros, and the Dodgers. Coincidentally, also the Braves. All of them were division winners except for the Mets.
Wow.
So let's talk about the Mets for just 1 second. How you doing, Met fans? You doing okay? You feeling all right? You feeling good about it? Because guess what? You just cost yourself 5 days off because you guys couldn't win 1 game in Atlanta, buddy. We watched the Braves Mets game over the series. What did you think about that? Did you think the Braves were going to go into Atlanta or going to be home against the Mets and sweep the Mets?
I knew the Braves were on fire. I knew the Mets have had their struggles. Pitching where isn't where it was supposed to be, or everyone thought it was supposed to be. DeGrom especially has had a rough late season, and I think that the Mets came in thinking they were gonna put up a good fight, but the Braves ended up taking it away from them. I mean, it was. I wouldn't say embarrassing because there wasn't any blowouts.
Listen, the Mets are still a good team.
Good games. They're incredible.
The Mets still won 100 games, 101 games.
They're a scary team. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, it's something about the Braves. It's something about the chop house that they can't handle.
Yeah. So listen, I think it was Kev Mike that said, "Buck's going to get you there, but you ain't going home with him." Right? He's going to get you to the dance, but you ain't going home with him. And I believe that is actually true because he did it with Baltimore a few times. I wish that we would have had Buck Showalter as our manager because I love the guy. He's a great motivator. He knows how to coach his team. He knows how to manage. But once again, he's proved that he can get teams to almost to the finish line, but he ends up being in second again. And we follow Frank the Tank on Barstool. We love watching Frank get all hyper up. But Met fans knew, and I have some good friends. My friend Billy, he's a big Met fan. He's my favorite Met fan. He said, eventually the shoe is going to drop. Eventually, he knew it back in June. Something bad's going to happen, and the Mets aren't going to win the division. And the Mets the Mets still played pretty good. But the Atlanta Braves, they were April 29th, I believe. Somebody can fact check me, that's fine. But I do believe it was ballpark April 29th. You might want to check on that. Joey Stats, why don't you check that? When the Braves were the furthest out, I believe it was
10 games,
April 29th or April 22nd. They were 10.5 games out of first place.
10.
They made up 10.5 games and then still won the division by 1.5 games. So congrats to the Atlanta Braves. The Mets, listen, you're still a good team. You still have great pitching. They're going to be a problem in the playoffs. San Diego's about to find out.
The Braves with that light when they turn off the lights or whatever. And that's scary shit.
It's crazy.
Right? And it's awesome.
It's awesome. I love it, man. The fans in Atlanta, the chop house. We got the tomahawk chop going. It was nuts.
Right. I was
the Mets,
I was actually thinking I was doing some research of my own before I knew I was actually coming on. This is kind of short notice for me, which I was hype about coming on the show and talking to you guys about this. But I've realized that a lot of the other teams do not approve of this Braves ritual when the other pitcher is coming out of the game.
Yeah,
they think it's Bush League. They think it's not Major League. But I don't think it's about that.
Shutting off the lights.
Right. I don't think it's
cooler than a trumpet.
Right. It's cooler than that trumpet.
That trumpet came too early. That was
it. It peaked, man.
Yeah.
It peaked in August.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
That's what killed them.
Yeah. You touched the money, dude. Like when you
Seinfeld said it.
Jerry Seinfeld, biggest Met fan that there is. There's not a bigger Met fan than Jerry Seinfeld. And he said, we touched the money too early. We brought Timmy Trumpet to, I don't know. I think that's his name, Timmy Trumpet. We brought him to Shea or whatever they call their field, City Field. They brought him to City Field. He played it live, and they kept doing it night after night after night. And, you had the fans going nuts, and they were playing the fake trombones or the fake trumpets. And they touched the money. It's just like, listen, if you're a hockey guy, when you win your conference to go to the Stanley Cup Finals, you never touch the trophy. You never touch the conference trophy. Right. You don't touch the Stanley Cup until they hand it to you. Right? You never touch it. It's like when you're gambling, like guys who play poker, you never touch the money until you win. Right. Never touch the money. Right? And the Mets touched the money. And now they have to play 3 games before they get to the ALDS. They're in the wild card. They're facing the San Diego Padres, who, in my opinion, were basically left for dead. I mean, they finished. How many games did they finish out, Joey? They finished. I think they finished like 24, 25 games out.
They crawled into the playoffs.
They did back right in. I mean, everybody, including myself and Notter, and you and I, Dill, even thought about it when at the All-Star break or the not the All-Star break, the trade deadline. They made all those moves, man. They brought in Hader from the Brewers. Who the Brewers were like, here, you can have him.
22 games back.
22 games out. Wow. The Padres did. Well, but they got Hader, the closer from Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
And Milwaukee basically got a case of big league chew for him, and he was just awful. I don't think he's touched a baseball. He stepped on the mound for the Padres in weeks because I think his ERA was up around 10 for the Padres.
It was awful.
He was bad.
I would say I would describe San Diego Padres' second half of the season as disappointing, and I'm not even a Padres fan.
Yeah.
My dad's a distant Padres fan.
We
just like watching Padres baseball. We like Tatis.
The Crone Zone.
We liked Tatis. We don't really know what's going on with that right now. But,
he got his money too early.
Right. But it's disappointing seeing how much firepower is on that team, pitching, all that, and for them to be 22 games behind and crawling into the playoffs is disappointing, to say the least.
Well, let's not forget. I mean, how many games did they win, Joe?
Who, the Padres?
Like 89 games, 87 games?
The Padres were at, give me one sec.
It had to be right around 90, between
89 and 73.
Okay. Because listen, you can't say that without saying how great the Los Angeles Dodgers were this year.
Yeah,
111 wins. Thank you. 111. I went for some reason 112 stuck in my head. 111 wins. They were an absolute juggernaut.
Oh yeah.
And listen, everybody knows, right? It was like the Red Sox before 2004. Everybody knows the Red Sox, no matter how good they are in the regular season, they can't close the deal.
Is it just me that I'm rooting against Cleveland because I don't like the team name Guardians?
I don't like Cleveland, period.
I'm rooting for
Cleveland. I'm rooting for the Rays. I don't care who the Yankees play. We're going to get to that in just a minute. We're going to go through the whole schedule.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I don't like the Guardians. I still call them the Indians. But they're playing Tampa. Tampa kind of back. They limped into the playoffs too. Baltimore didn't get eliminated until really late. And congrats to Baltimore because listen, I know a couple Orioles fans, and if you're an Orioles fan, you got to be happy. You got something to look forward to. The first time they didn't have a losing record in like 7-8 years, so good for them. There's a lot of young players in Baltimore, and if they keep them, the Orioles are going to be a problem.
That's a reason that I won fantasy baseball against Ray DuPont there.
Yeah, congratulations on your fantasy baseball.
Rushman, the catcher.
Yeah, Ray is like the perennial champion of that league, is he not?
He won it last
just
year.
About every year. He is the defending champion.
Me and him were in the championship last year. He won, and then this year I kind of dominated.
Oh, congrats!
I won 8-2. But
you thank the Orioles.
Yes.
Did you have Aaron Judge on your team?
No, I did not have Aaron Judge.
Did you have any Yankees on your team?
No. I had Vlad Guerrero. I had Bo Bichette.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Who had a great second half, by the way.
Tremendous.
But, yeah, we're gonna cover all the postseason awards and our end of the season special. Nader and I do a B3 award show. We have to come up with a great name for our B3 awards. But we have we put all our B3 awards. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Boom. Done. But we'll cover all that at the end of the season. We'll give away our postseason awards to the worthy players. And it remains to be seen because, listen, tomorrow, Friday, October the 7th, the MLB playoffs start. October is here, baby. It's the most wonderful time of the year if you're a baseball fan. I don't care who's playing. I'm watching it. I personally love the afternoon games. There's a lot of talk on social media about the Rays getting shafted by having to play a noon game tomorrow and a noon game on Saturday. But listen, Major League Baseball created that problem by putting more teams into the playoffs, right? Now you have 4 division winners or 6 division winners, and then you have 6 wildcard teams.
Yes.
So you have a lot of wildcard
baseball
teams.
all day tomorrow.
Yeah. Baseball starts at noon tomorrow, and you're going to go late into the day.
It's a good thing I'm off school.
Right.
I know what I'd be doing the whole day.
There's 4 games tomorrow. There's 4 games on Saturday. And if necessary, there'll be 4 games on Sunday. Sunday, you're going to listen. It's also stupid because they're playing those games on all day Sunday, and you're competing with the NFL. That's kind of tough.
That's going to be hard, but I think that we'll be watching baseball.
Yes. Listen, it's follow the science, as they say. People want to know why why are the Rays and the Indians playing or the Guardians playing at noon every day? Because guess what? Nobody outside Cleveland cares about it because ain't nobody in Tampa cares because they don't have fans.
Very
I
true.
only know like one Braves fan or one Rays fan. I don't think I've ever met outside this one person. I don't think I've ever met someone who roots for the Rays. And you watch their games when they play home. If I think Sunday, if they make it to Sunday, there'll be 10,000 people in that stadium,
and most of them Guardians fans.
And listen, that stadium is garbage.
I know when we watched the Yankees at the Rays in Tropicana Field, which is up there for the worst fields in the MLB. I know that it's louder when Judge comes up to the bat.
They pipe crowd noise in. I've been there. It's a dump. It's in a bad neighborhood. Yeah. It's literally across the street from Steinbrenner Field where the Yankees have spring training. And Tampa Bay Stadium, whatever that's called, whatever the Bucks play, it's right there too. They share a parking lot almost. Yeah. So it's a dump. The Tropicana Field sucks.
Fucking catwalk shit.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's the worst field in Major League Baseball. It's so bad.
I agree.
And nobody wants to go. They pipe crowd noise in to make it seem louder than it is. I went to a Yankee game there. There was like 8,700 people. 8,500 of them were rooting for the Yankees.
Yeah, it's a Yankee style.
It was bad. So whenever the Red Sox go too, you watch the Red Sox playing the Rays. It's like Fenway South.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. We're going to talk about that first. We're going to go through each series. We'll talk about the games, and then we'll talk about our predictions and who we think is going to move on to the ALDS and NLDS beginning Tuesday with the American League. So we're going to start right off with the aforementioned Tampa and Cleveland. Cleveland won the American League Central, a horrid AL Central, by the way.
Oh, God.
And, I can't talk about the AL Central without talking about Mr. Tony La Russa, who finally is retiring. He didn't say he retired from baseball. He's retiring as the manager of the Chicago White Sox. Now, if you follow Bronx baseball and Barry, you know I have zero love for Tony La Russa. He's a terrible manager. The game passed him by 25 years ago. So he is retiring. So bon voyage, Tony La Russa. But that division was awful. The Indians, I can't say what I really want to say, but because it's probably inappropriate to say what I want to say. But listen, I can't find anything to compare what I want to say. But they were the worst. They were the worst team in the American League. Right there, you go. Yeah. They were the best worst team. They won the division because somebody had to win it.
What is it? White Sox, Guardians.
Twins just completely fell apart. Had that Carlos Correa contract work out. He'll be gone next year. He insane in Minnesota.
And what's his face can't stay healthy.
Tim Anderson.
No, not Tim Anderson. On the Twins. Byron Buxton.
Yeah. Another great. If that guy could play a full season, he'd hit 50, 60 home runs.
Easy.
He's so good.
Easy. He hits home runs like it's nothing.
So the tribe, I'm still calling them the Indians. Cleveland gets to the playoffs. Tampa backs in. There is a wild card. One of the division winners has to play the lowest seed wild card, which was Tampa. So Tampa will play Cleveland. First game tomorrow at noon. It's actually 12:07 first pitch tomorrow, and it's going to be Shane Bieber versus Shane McClanahan for the Rays. That should be a pretty good matchup. McClanahan's a pretty decent pitcher. He's actually really good. He had a pretty low ERA. Bieber is the ace of Cleveland. Now we're going to get into a little bit because I want to know what you think, Joe. Would you, if you're managing game one, do you start your ace in a wild card best 2 out of 3? Do you start your ace game one?
I mean, you got to if you're the Rays, no? If you want to get in.
Listen, they have.
We're going to talk about game 2 to win and get in this, get into the postseason from here.
Yeah.
Well, you're in, but I'm saying
you want to go. You want to move on.
You want to move on. You got to start your ace, no?
I would think so, yeah. But there's another team that's not doing that I really want to discuss, and we'll get to when we get to that. So. Bieber versus McClanahan tomorrow, game 1 in Cleveland, whatever they're calling their field now. Used to be the Jacobs Field. I've been there. It's a fantastic stadium. Great atmosphere. The Cleveland fans are awesome. They're the only good Cleveland fans, by the way.
Progressive field.
What's that?
Progressive field.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 1:00 or noon tomorrow. So if you're at work, sneak off to the side, put your phone on, watch the game. Bieber versus McClanahan, game 1. Okay, game 2 for this series is on Saturday. Same bat time, same bat channel. It's on at noon. The Tampa Rays have a secret weapon coming back. He's missed the entire season. He missed almost all of last season. He's missed all of this season. He's back. Tyler Glasnow is back. Listen, that kid is absolute gas. He's awesome. He throws hard. He throws good breaking stuff. And he's young, but it remains to be seen what he can bring to Tampa after not having started a regular season game in so freaking long. But he will be starting game 2 in accordance with everything I'm reading on MLB.com. And it's TBD for Cleveland. So I don't know who Cleveland's going to start in their game 2, but I do know game 3, Sunday at 4 p.m. They got moved out of the noon slot Sunday. Tampa does not know who they're starting, TBD. And Quantrill is going to start for the Tribe. So that should be a good series. I think that series goes 3 games. I think the Indians will win tomorrow night, Bieber and McClanahan, and I think the Rays win Saturday, and I think it'll be a tight game on Sunday, but I think the Rays are going to eventually are going to take that series.
I agree.
Yeah, you think the Rays? I think the Rays are a little too much. I think Kevin Cash is a fantastic manager. As much as I hate the Rays, I think Cash is a great manager. He's going to be the difference, I think. The way he manages, he might even, that TBD game, he might even do his thing he's been doing all year where he has started by committee, where guy comes in and pitches 1, maybe 2 innings, and it gives him some length for his starters and his bullpen. So the only thing you got to worry about that is you got to play, if you win that game, you got to go to New York on Tuesday and face the Yankees with a tired bullpen. So we'll see. So game 1 and 2, Friday and Saturday, noon, Sunday at 4.
We got Rays on top.
I got the Rays. Joey Stats, what you got?
For the first game, Rays.
You got the first game, the Rays are going to win the first game?
Yeah, 100%.
You
I think that they come in, McCallahan, I think he's the better pitcher in the matchup for them.
You think I think he's a good pitcher. I think it's going to come down to bullpens.
Yeah, you think? Well, we'll see. I like the Rays.
The Indians have more pop than the Rays, but the Rays play small ball.
On the Indians, I love that Josh Naylor.
Yeah, everyone loves that guy.
If he can come alive in the playoffs, he can carry a team.
Yeah. I think Nader and I did a show a couple months ago where we featured we had a whole Josh Naylor segment
when they played the White Sox.
When he hit that, he hit 3 home runs and he hit 2 in 1 inning. He had 8 RBIs, 6 RBIs in 1 inning.
Yeah, that was a crazy clip where he was throwing everything.
He was
throwing
awesome.
His helmet around. Yeah,
it was good stuff. So
crazy.
Even though I like Cleveland, I still think Tampa is better managed. I think that Cash will end up making better decisions, and I think the Rays win in 3.
I agree.
You agree with that?
I agree.
You got that? Is that how you see it going,
Rays in 3,
Joey?
100%.
All right, so we all agree Rays in 3. Moving on, we're going to go to the National League. I think this is going to be a better series than people think, and I'm going to tell you why.
3 games, easy.
I think this is going to go 3 games as well. But we got Philadelphia, who made it by the skin of their teeth, against the Cardinals of St. Louis, who won a terrible National League Central. Listen, I'm not taking anything away from St. Louis. They had a good season. They did what they had to do. They won their division.
Games. So.
Still have to win your games.
Right.
Everyone knows about the Pujols thing. He ended up with 703, I think he did. I think he ended up with 703 home runs. Is that true, Joey? Pujols
703.
703 home runs.
And by the way, Nader thinks Cleveland in 3.
Okay, I don't have an issue with that. I think that's a good pick, Nader. I don't think that's far from saying. I just like I like Cash as a difference in that. So that's why I picked Tampa in that. So Philly St. Louis game 1 at 2:00 tomorrow afternoon. So about the 6th, 7th inning time of the Cleveland Tampa game, you're going to get the start of the Philadelphia and St. Louis game. They have to overlap in order to get all the games in. So you're going to have game 1 at 4, or I'm sorry, at 2. You're going to have Zach Wheeler versus Quintana for the St. Louis Cardinals. That should be a fantastic. I like Wheeler. Wheeler, obviously from the Mets, came to the Phillies. He's been fantastic for the Phillies. I like what Philly's doing with him. I heard rumors maybe of God, I can't. I completely spaced on what
rumors on.
What's that?
You said rumors.
I did hear a rumor that somebody might come back if the Phillies can move on. Is Harper going to come back? I heard a rumor that he could come back. He's been hitting the ball, so I don't know. We'll see. Nader could probably find that out. Nader's good at sleuthing that. If Bob Nightingale said it's definitely not happening. So we know that for a fact because Nightingale always tweets out garbage, things that are untrue. Game 2 Saturday, they moved to the night because the second most popular team in baseball, whether you agree with me or not, I don't care, but it's facts. The second most popular team in baseball is the St. Louis Cardinals after the Yankees. They are going to get a night game as well. They get the 8:30 game Saturday night. It's Nola versus Mikolas. That's going to be another game. Aaron Nola is a fantastic pitcher. He doesn't get enough credit. I think he's awesome. I think that's going to be a toss-up game because I think Mikolas is a great pitcher. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Albert Pujols during the series. Because, listen, teams aren't going to be throwing cock shots at Albert Pujols in the playoffs, okay? You're going to know right away if teams were throwing meat to Albert Pujols. I'm under the belief, now you still have to hit the ball.
Correct.
You still have to hit it far, and he has obviously done that. I have nothing but respect for Albert Pujols. But you can't tell me with a straight face that guys weren't grooving fastballs to him or throwing off-speed stuff over the plate so he can crush it to get over 700 home runs. And I'm going to tell you why. Because 99.8% of Major League Baseball despises Alex Rodriguez, and they wanted Alex Rodriguez to get overtaken by Albert Pujols. But I have no problem with that. I don't even have any problem with guys grooving pitches to him. Because, I mean, there's only a few guys that have ever hit 700 home runs. So I still respect it. You still have to hit it. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in this series. Is Philly going to pitch to him? Are they going to pitch around him? Because we talked about it last week about guys pitching around Aaron Judge. I think people are cowards for doing that. I think did you guys see the story about the Yankee fans that sent a bunch? They raised money through what is that Cash App that people raise money through?
Oh, like
Kickstarter. I forget what it is. When people need money, GoFundMe. They had like a GoFundMe type thing. The Yankees fans raised money for the Texas Rangers charity because the Texas Rangers actually pitched to Aaron Judge and allowed him to hit number 63 or number 62. Now, I don't know if you did see Portnoy, Barstool president Dave Portnoy's rant about Aaron Judge getting grooved a breaking pitch. I watched it. We watched it together. It was actually cool because Dylan and I sat together on the couch. It was the first time we had been able to sit down in a couple of weeks to watch a game, and we got to see Judge's home run right off the bat.
I got to see 60, 61, and 62 all live, real time.
And that's something you'll be able to tell your son about someday.
Forever.
But I watched that. That was definitely he definitely hung a pitch. He hung a slider, and Judge has been pressing, but he definitely did not miss that one, and he had an absolute rocket. But it'll be interesting to see if they pitch to Judge. I mean, they pitch to Pujols in this series. I really like the Cardinals because I like their lineup a little bit better. I like their hitting. I feel like the Phillies have better pitching, and usually in the postseason, good pitching beats good hitting most of the time.
Right.
But for some reason, I can't explain why. This is a toss-up. I really like the Cardinals in this one, just because I just think the Cardinals are a better team overall.
Right, I agree. But I don't mean to hop off a little off topic. It's on the same topic, but you could have the same conversation about Judge. Our team's going to pitch around him. Our team's going to not throw the ball to him. Our team's going to find a way to move past Judge and move past the fact that he can crush balls 400 plus feet. And will he carry this run into the playoffs? So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how teams react to Aaron Judge being at the plate. And same thing with Pujols. They both crush home runs. They both crush a lot of home runs. But it's going to be definitely interesting to see how teams react.
It'll be fun to watch. Joey, what do you got?
I like the Phillies.
I
don't think that you should have let them in the playoffs. I think Schwarber's hot. I think exactly what you were saying. I'm hoping Harper comes back. That city, Philadelphia, you let that team in, I could see them going somewhere.
Rightfully so. Philly fans get a bad rap. But I've been to a lot of Philly games. I've been to Eagles games. I've been to Phillies games. I've been to Flyers games. I like the Philly fans, man. I hate the Philly teams, but I like the Flyer fans are one of the most passionate fan bases.
I agree.
In all of sports. Every fan base has those fans. Right? Boston has them. The Yankees have them. The Mets have them. Philly has them. The Dodgers and the Giants have them. Everybody's got them. You only hear about them because they're East Coast guys, or you only hear about it because it's Philly. It's because it's the Yankees. It's because it's Boston.
Right.
That's the only time you hear about it. But they get a bad rep. They're actually really good fans. It was great to see when the Phillies won the World Series in 2008, right? Yeah. Against the Rays.
Yeah.
The fans went nuts. Someday the Sixers will win a championship, I think.
I hope so. They're looking pretty promising in these games here.
Well,
James
yeah,
Harden
so were the
cooking
Knicks,
up.
but that's another story. But when the Eagles won, that was awesome. Even though I hated it because I hate the Eagles. When the Eagles beat the Patriots, that city went nuts.
We could be.
I
doing
have
part
family
two.
that's from Philly. Auntie Kristen and Uncle Mike are
course.
from Philly. I have friends that are from Philly. I was happy for them. So I'm happy for the city, man. If the Philly wins, good for them. I don't have a problem with that. Has Nader chimed in yet? I think Nader took the Phillies as well.
He's a Philly guy.
He's
too.
a Philly guy
Yep.
as well. So
Well, I mean, those.
who you got, Till?
Well, I mean, I got Philly. I think.
All right.
I
So I'm the
agree with
lone
him.
wolf here.
Yeah.
I'm the
I
lone
agree.
wolf with the Cardinals. I'm sticking with the Cardinals.
I agree with.
exact words are Phillies beat St. Louis, and it's not close.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay. And Sunday's game, Suarez for Philly against TBD for St. Louis. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what they're going to do.
Could be a former Yankee. On
Yeah, I don't know what's going to go on there. Could it be Jordan Montgomery? That's clips for the Cardinals if it's Jordan
I
Montgomery.
don't know.
So we got three Phillies and a St. Louis.
Yes.
So I'm going with St. Louis. I'm the lone wolf there.
You think 3 games though?
I think it's going to go. I think that might go 3 games.
I'm going Phillies 2-game sweep.
Now let's go back to the American League because I think
Yeah, probably.
I think
You should keep it.
yeah.
You should write
Listen,
it down.
you can hold me to it.
It's all on tape.
I got Phillies 2-game sweep. I'm calling it right now. I'm
2 games.
changing.
All right. So Dill
I
calls
had-
a 2-game sweep.
I had 3 games and I had Phillies and I thought I was gonna be close, but I'm thinking about it now. We got the Phillies fans, which he brought up,
Yeah.
right? And
Now that it's the 2 games are in St. Louis. They're going to
in
have to
St.
win
Louis,
one.
and I'm going to give St. Louis fans a little prep up here. Some of the best fans in baseball,
Yes, dude.
but by hands down, they're respectful. You know, I've really never seen a St. Louis fan talk shit online. It's rare.
I have.
Well, he has. He's been around a lot longer than I have.
Yes.
But,
I know St. Louis fans that talk a lot of trash.
Right.
So,
But
which is fine. They're good. It's a great baseball
right,
city.
every fan talks trash at one point, but it's a good, like you said, great baseball city, good stadium, good energy. It's going to be tough for the Phillies.
Bring
but
baseball back to Philly. Let's win that 2-game sweep. Get it back to
they
Philly.
brought football back this season, and they're bringing baseball back this season. But I just think the Phillies are hard to beat. They got the bats.
All right.
They got the pitching, but the pitching's been shaky. But they got the bats, and I think the bats are hot right now. Coming the second half of that season,
You go back to early in the season when the Phillies fired Joe Girardi, and they got Robbie Thompson, who was also a former Yankee third base coach.
It was an 11-game losing streak.
Yeah, they had a
at
terrible
one point,
losing
and
streak. They
fired
brought
Joe
Robbie
Girardi,
Thompson in, and he did great. I mean,
absolutely
he won a bunch of games. I think he was well over 500
for sure.
And they turned their season around, and here they are in the wild card. So congrats to Philly.
October baseball.
I'm the only one going with St. Louis, but I wouldn't mind seeing Philadelphia win because it's National League, and I actually don't give a damn. So we're going to go to this. I think, my opinion, you guys can give me your opinion as well. I think this is going to be the best series of the weekend. I think Seattle versus Toronto is absolutely going to be entertaining. I think both teams are stacked. I think both teams are loaded. Game number 1, Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. Castillo, the ace of the Mariners, going against the ace of the Toronto Blue Jays, Manoah. That's going to be awesome. I think that's going to be a great game. The first 2 games are in Toronto. I have the upstart Seattle Mariners, first time in the playoffs since 2001.
Been a while.
21 years. It was electric. The walk off that they got the other night after coming back and winning that game against the A's the way they did, and then getting into the playoffs. That home run put them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was electric. I told Nader, inject that right into my veins, man. That was awesome.
Goosebumps.
I despise the Seattle Mariners. I always have, but I think what they got going on is magic right now. I think it's going to carry them.
Yeah.
Toronto has been up and down all season. Now, if you look strictly on paper, the Toronto Blue Jays should walk away with this.
Oh my God.
Toronto Blue Jays have all the bats.
Boba
They
Fett,
have pitching.
Vladdy, Manoah. All these huge names that if you don't know, you're not a baseball fan.
Springer,
right? Yeah. I mean, there's
pops out at you. Yeah.
There's Chapman, third baseman, one of the best third basemen in the Major League Baseball.
Yes, I agree with that.
You're scared of the Blue Jays. That's why you don't want them in.
Yeah,
I am not scared of the Blue Jays because we slapped them around all season.
His defense is impeccable, right? You hit a ball 120 miles an hour to third base, and Chapman. He's catching that ball. I mean, Chapman's one of the best third basemen to watch, in my opinion. I always say something to Dad when we're watching the Blue Jays. Is that Chapman's really good.
You do.
I always say that.
Yep.
But his bat has been hot in the second. I remember, even though we did smack around the Blue Jays, Chapman always got hits on us. Always got hits on our pitchers. But I just, on paper, they should. Like I said, we said it in the beginning of the season. Before it even started, when we were sitting our asses, you guys were sitting on your asses in here, over there actually, right? And we were sitting here waiting for the season to start, waiting for something to happen. We knew that the Blue Jays were going to be a threat.
Yeah, I picked them to win the division.
Yeah, and, but we're sitting here now realizing that they went through injuries. Pitching was awful.
Their pitching has been terrible,
and they just have a lot of problems. And but they were starting to unfold later in the season, and they were showing. And the Yankees took advantage of it. I know a few teams took advantage of it. And here we are now, and they made the playoffs, and we got a good series coming up with the Mariners. And I think I'm going Mariners 3 games.
Yes,
close series.
I think the Mariners win this in 2 because Castillo is pitching. I think Castillo is better than Manoah. I think Manoah has been good, but he's been a little bit shaky lately. And then they have Robbie Ray, former Blue Jay, going against his former team on Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. in Game 2. I think it's clips for the Blue Jays. I think they're going to lose a close one on tomorrow afternoon, and I think they get beat by 2-3 runs on Saturday afternoon. I don't think that's going 3. But if it does, you have Gilbert going for the Mariners, who's having a great season, and the Blue Jays don't know who they're pitching on Sunday, right? As of right now,
they don't need to 2-game sweep.
Right? Exactly.
I think it's going to be a 2-game sweep. I think it's the other direction. Jay. I think it's going to be the Mariners. I like what they got. I like their pitching. I think their pitching is better. I like what they got going on. I'm the old school pitching beats good hitting. I think that the Mariners win this one. They sweep 2-0 over the Toronto Blue Jays. You're going.
Yeah, I don't think that the Mariners are going to go into Toronto and 2-game sweep either way. I think Manoah's going to just mow them down tomorrow, and Game 2 they're going to just take it right there.
The Mariners have a lot of young bats. The kid that got 2020, third youngest player of all time to get it, or something like that. And I forget his name. Is it something Jose or something?
Yeah, Hernandez.
Great player. Yes, absolutely great player.
Jose
a
Hernandez.
lot of pop. Gets a lot of base hits. High average. He gets a lot of hits in tough spots, and
he's clutch, man.
He's
I like what they got going on. They got the mojo.
Yeah, and I think that the Castellanos, or what's it, Castillo is definitely one of the best pitchers.
Just signed a new deal.
Just signed
a 4-year deal with the Mariners. Good for them.
Yeah.
So I mean, they locked him down. The Yankees could have had him. They didn't want him. So it is what it is. So okay. So did Nodder chime in on this? I don't have the comments up. What did Nodder? I think Nodder's going Blue Jays as well. I went lone wolf on that one too.
No, I got Mariners.
You got the Mariners. So Dylan and I going Mariners.
Mariners in 3. I don't think Blue Jays.
got Seattle 1. Toronto takes the next 2.
Okay, there you go. All right. So Nodder goes Toronto as well. He's calling Toronto Yankees.
Rogers Center is electric. Exactly what I'm thinking. That's what
it is. It is. There's Canadian fans are good baseball fans.
Agreed.
But
they're better hockey fans, but they're good baseball fans.
Yeah, but I like to see Toronto lose in hockey too.
Yeah.
I love seeing. There's nothing like seeing Toronto sad in the playoffs. It's not playoff hockey until you see Toronto fans crying. So we'll move on from that. So we're calling Toronto. You guys are calling Toronto versus the Yankees. Starting Tuesday, probably evening. I haven't seen the schedule for the ALDS, but because it's the Yankees, they'll probably be playing the 8 p.m. game or the 8:30 game, whatever they're going to do. Tuesday night. All right, so the last series of the weekend, it's going to be the San Diego Padres versus the New York Mets.
Yu Darvish. The Mets.
Yu Darvish is going to start Game 1.
Mets have not been able to hit Yu Darvish in the past.
Yes.
They have had so much trouble hitting off Yu Darvish. They just can't. They can't locate. They can't locate the balls. They can't see anything. They just can't hit. They can't do it. But I think that the Mets are fired up. As much as I hate the Mets and I hate Mets fans, I think they're annoying. Sorry to anyone that's a Mets fan out there. I know there's a lot of them, but you guys are annoying. And
Scotty Bergen says Padres in 3.
And
Vladdy's house.
Yeah,
I think Vladdy's house.
That's what Nodder said.
Yeah,
I think that the Mets will. I think the Mets will get it in 3. That's just my opinion. I think the Mets are going to come out on top. I mean, we've seen how depressing this second half of the San Diego season has gone.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We've seen Juan Soto's frustration with the team. We've seen the teammate turmoil with all the things that went on with Tatis, and the camaraderie just not
Shadow,
there.
yeah, with Juan Soto. Yeah, it's been tough.
Losing Tommy Pham.
Listen, I fanboyed. I fanboyed when Soto went to the Padres. Nader and I both fanboyed. We figured that the Padres would at least make a go of it. I figured the Dodgers would feel a little bit of pressure from them, but immediately that week, I think the day after the trade deadline,
it was
the Padres went to Dodgers, and the Dodgers bitch slapped them.
It was
hard that entire weekend. I think they won like every game. They scored at least 10 runs.
I remember watching it with him and just us going, like, what's going on here? Like, this isn't what's supposed to happen.
Scottso, you said it when after they made the trade, after they, like you said, got bitch slapped, that it was Machado's team, and even last year you saw it with Tatis. There's no chemistry there. Nobody, they can't mesh as a team. They keep bringing in guys that the team's flat. The Mets need to come in hot and prove that they're still a good team, even though they went flat at the end of the season.
Yeah,
I'm going with Max Scherzer, 2 different colored eyes to take the first game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really tight game. But here's the thing with Darvish. Darvish has had a good season, right? I'm just looking at his stats right now. He had just missed 200 strikeouts. His whip was less than 1, which is fantastic. Teams only hit 207 against him. He had a 3.1 ERA. I mean, it's not Max Scherzer numbers, but it's still pretty respectable.
Right.
Especially when you have to face the Dodgers 19 times. Well, not he didn't, but his team did. I do like Scherzer. I like the Mets in the game 1, but I like the Philly. I mean, I like the Padres to win game 2.
Do you think?
And here's what I'm going to say this, because the Mets have not decided if they're pitching DeGrom on game 2. That's what I was saying at the beginning of the show. I said I wanted to talk about not starting your best starters first, because really the Mets don't have a number 2. They have a 1 and a 1A, right?
Correct. Scherzer.
Because Scherzer, you could flip-flop them, Scherzer DeGrom, doesn't matter. I personally did what Buck did. I would have started Scherzer in game 1 because, just my opinion, and if I have numbers to back it up, the last 2-3 weeks, DeGrom has not looked himself.
I agree.
He's been getting slapped around. You know, if you knew what happened last week, the Mets moved their pitching staff around to set up Scherzer, DeGrom, Bassett for the Brave series, and it completely backfired on them because all 3 of those guys, I wanted to say Amber Herding anymore. Now we're calling metting the bed. They met the bed in those 3 games. It did not work out for the Mets because Austin Riley took them all to town. It was pretty awesome. I don't know if you saw the picture on Facebook of Austin Riley holding Scherzer babies with Scherzer, DeGrom, and Bassett faces on them. So I think that's a mistake if the Mets lose game 1, you almost have to go to DeGrom.
Correct.
In game 2.
Well,
it's a TBD game.
Nader was saying the same thing. The reason they're not announcing it is because it all depends
they want to wait
who wins
on the
game
first
1.
game.
Yeah. And I don't like that strategy. I think you just go with your 2 best guys, put it to bed. I still think the Mets are going to win, but I think the Mets are a superior team on paper. The Padres look way better than the Mets, especially with the hitting, because the Mets, let's be honest, the Mets don't have, outside Pete Alonso. I know Jeff McNeil won the batting title, and good for him. But outside those 2 guys, who else they got? Because Starling Marte's not playing.
If Padres get hot, is that a team that scares you in the playoffs?
I think so. If the Padres can find pitching, because the Padres have great starting pitching. The Padres bullpen is an absolute disaster. I don't even have the stats. I should have looked it up. The Padres bullpen is an absolute atrocity. But here's what I'm going to say. You don't have, after game 1, you have Darvish versus Scherzer, and then game 2 and game 3. Both late games, by the way, on Saturday, Sunday, because it's the Mets.
Correct.
Both teams are TBD. I think both teams are deciding who, because listen, you're going to start Musgrove. Are you going to start Snell? Are you going to start Sean Manaea? Who are you going to start in that second game? Who are you starting in the third game? So I will say this. If San Diego can somehow get it back to San Diego on Sunday night, the Mets better watch out.
I agree.
And here's 2 things are going to happen if the Mets lose the series. If the Mets don't win the World, anything short of a World Series, here's exactly what's going to happen. First of all, every other fan base, especially the Yankees
on the Mets.
Yeah, especially Yankees, Phillies, and Braves fans are going to absolutely shit all over the Mets all winter long. It's going to be another fun offseason. But be cautious because Uncle Stevie, the owner of the New York Mets, is going to go out and he is going to spend some money. The Mets are going to buy everybody they possibly can. The Mets might be the first team that goes over a $300 million payroll.
And I think that we should watch out for that Judge move.
I don't think Judge is. Listen, if Judge leaves the Yankees, Judge is going to go to San Francisco.
I don't know. I think
nope,
the Mets are out.
No shot. I don't think he's that guy.
You don't think he's that guy?
I think he's staying with the Yankees. I think it's going to cost us a fortune because
too.
we don't need to go out and get a big name free agent because we have the pieces in place. Right. We don't need to go out. Now, if he leaves, we absolutely have to go out and get somebody because you can't replace that.
As much as we love Judge, but that will be exciting.
It would be exciting. But if he leaves, if he stays, you have the pieces around him. Maybe we need a third baseman, but Cabrera's been playing out of his mind. Correct. I kind of like this kid. We have Volpe, who was the minor league Baseball America minor league player of the year this year.
Correct.
You have so many younger kids coming up. You have Austin Wells. You have all these positions that we need. Peraza is already up. So we have kids coming. So we don't need to go out and buy these pieces, right? Maybe a third baseman because I think Donaldson's a little long in the tooth.
I agree.
We're getting off the track here. I want to finish with the Mets series.
We could talk for hours.
Right. We could talk about the Yankees all night. But what they're going to do, that's a conversation for another day for the offseason. But I'm saying if the Mets find themselves playing a game in San Diego on Sunday night, be careful because I think the Padres might win that series. I do think the Mets sweep personally, but it's going to be not as easy as Met fans think.
I got Mets in 3.
If Tatis was actually playing right now, would that be a no-brainer that the Padres could win this series?
No, because I think the Mets have a superior bullpen.
I agree.
The Mets bullpen is absolutely lights out. I mean, they're so good. I don't think the Padres bullpen, if it comes down to bullpens, it's clips. The Padres lose easily.
Agreed.
They'll get swept. Their best chances, they're getting length out of their starters, keeping them in the ball game and letting their offense go to work. Letting Machado, Cronenworth, Soto, those guys, let them do their thing, let them go to town.
Yeah, but they need to be hot.
I think they do, but I think there's something to what I'm saying here with Scherzer and DeGrom. They have not been right over the last month.
Agreed.
Both pitchers. So DeGrom went on the 15-day because he had some weakness on his pitching side and his oblique, right? He was the right side, his right arm. He was the same thing that happened last year with the Dodgers.
He threw to the Braves, and that was a mess.
They used him too much, and he was fatigued. His arm was tired, and he was out the rest of them. The Dodgers lost that series to the Braves. Just my opinion, because Scherzer went out because his arm was tired. That was it. That was clips for the Dodgers. So the Mets better be careful with him because you don't want to push him because he's already shown that he's getting old. What is he, 35, 36, Joey?
35.
He's 35 years old. He's not a spring chicken. And listen, I'm 52. He's still a young man to me.
Correct.
But for a baseball player, for a guy who throws 100 miles an hour,
he's old.
100 times every fourth day for 6 months a year. That's age. And that takes a toll on your arm. Sure. But I still think the Mets have superior pitching. That's why I think the Mets win. Easy, 2-0. Mets take Sunday off, and they'll face the Dodgers. So you're going to get that. I mean, everybody wants to see that. I want to see that.
That is going to be
as a baseball fan. You want to see Mets Dodgers. That's going to be a fantastic series. Now the Mets did play the Dodgers. The Mets handled the Dodgers this year. Correct. But that's earlier in the year when the Mets were playing really well. I think that's going to be a fantastic series. Mookie's healthy. The Dodgers are nasty. I think, just my opinion, I think the Dodgers run through the National League. Right, the road to the World Series is going to go through Los Angeles. They go right to the World Series. The American League is the waters are a little muddier there. I still think clearly the Yankees and the Astros are the two best teams.
Agreed.
But anything can happen.
It's playoffs.
Anytime.
October baseball.
Everybody wants the Dodgers, and everybody wants to see Yankees Astros. That's going to be that's your money. If you're Major League Baseball, that's your money right there.
I call it Yankees in 6.
I think Yankees win that. I do think the Yankees
Mets,
will
Dodgers,
finally.
And everybody wants to see Phillies Braves.
Listen, I think everybody wants to see Braves Dodgers. I think the Braves are have been playing out of their minds, but they're not as good as the Dodgers. They're
Braves,
not.
Dodgers.
They need Strider back.
They need Strider.
Yeah.
The Dodgers, they're going to need all hands on deck as far as their pitching goes. But the Dodgers lineup, up and down that lineup, they just have killers, man.
It's awful.
It's so good. They're such a good team. But I'm excited. It's October baseball. The weather outside's cold. At night, it's going to be great. I mean, I love the afternoon games too. It brings me back to my childhood watching afternoon baseball in October.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Bucky Dent game. I got to stay home from school for the Bucky Dent game. I was only in
back in the early 1900s.
I was only in third grade. Yeah, in '78. Yeah, I got to watch that game live. So it's great. October baseball is back. We should try to get to a game.
I mean,
try to get to a Yankee.
You
game.
got the money, man. So.
Yeah. So it's back, guys. And listen, we've almost come to the end of the show, Dill. So is there anything you wanted to talk about before we get off the air? Give me some baseball stuff, man.
I don't have anything. I just think that the Yankees are going to be. I think that people overlooking the Yankees right now
because of the
August.
awful late
August.
the late July August swoon they went through.
I'm going to go off on a little rant here. Let's sit up in my chair. I don't want to say the Yankees are underrated because people know that
They're
we
the
have
Yankees.
firepower.
Yeah, that's kind of
the Yankees are never underrated.
They're not the
Everyone
underdog.
knows that we're the Yankees,
Correct.
right? The Yankees are held up to this standard, right? And we haven't been meeting that standard lately, as of late, the past few years. 12
years, by the way.
I know, but recently it's gotten a little better. It's been looking up. We came into the season. We were skeptical, right? We knew we were okay. We knew we were good from last year, but we knew we need things to work out. We didn't think we were going to be this good.
Right.
You and me both. Well, how many games in a row? 11, 12, 13? How many games in a row? That first
11.
It was. We opened our eyes. We saw something special, right? We have a good team. We have a team that can compete. We have a team that can. I think we sweep the Red Sox, right? We sweep the Red Sox in the beginning of the season, and I think this is from me. This is my first year actually sitting down and I was excited for the baseball season to start. I grew up watching baseball and being around the game because of Dad and his love for the game. But I think that this year is a first for me being, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch baseball tonight with Dad. Right. And I'm going to do my research. I'm going to keep up with games, keep up with scores, keep up with pitching, keep up with hitting and how all that stuff's going just because of him and him being around this podcast has helped me in my love for the game. And, I'm excited to see how the Yankees do. I'm excited. I was excited for them to start the season. And now I'm even more excited now that we're getting in October. It's getting a little colder. Games are starting to get a little more fun. Things are coming down to the wire. And I'm excited to see how the Yankees do. We are a Yankees podcast. So I'm ready. I'm ready for Yankees October baseball.
And I love October baseball in the Bronx, man.
I'm ready. We want 28.
I love that.
We want 28.
Joey Stats, what do you got,
What
buddy?
a better season for your son to pick it back up and then get to see 62. Come on.
Yeah, that was great. And it was special because I got to sit down and I got to watch
it together. Yeah.
62 with my son. It was awesome.
Well, we were kind of.
I called it, by the way. Did I not?
You did.
I called it one pitch too early, but I did call it.
He said lead off. I sat down. I said I'll lead off home run right here, and you said first pitch. I was like, I don't know about first pitch. I said he usually takes the first pitch. I think it was a ball.
But he had been over the last week or so. He had been swinging at that first pitch. He kept grounding it. He kept pulling it and grounding it to the shortstop every single time.
Every time. Yes.
So, but it was great. Joey Stats, what do you got to close it out?
I don't like the guy that caught the ball. By the way.
No,
he seemed like a dick.
But I don't like him. The guy's a millionaire.
Yeah, he didn't need it. He
didn't. To his credit, he's not. He said he doesn't. He has no interest in selling it.
Really?
He got offered $2 million by some auction house.
Oh, he doesn't need the money.
But he's a vice president of some investment firm in Dallas.
Yeah.
His wife was a former contestant on The Bachelorette. I mean, somebody punched that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Punch him in the stomach.
I watched his interview after. I'm like, oh, fuck this guy.
Well, I think that
good for him though. It was a great catch.
Yeah.
But hey, I only thumbs down I give him. You're a grown ass man. You don't bring your glove to a game.
No, 100% agree.
Catch it with your bare hands. And don't do it.
Yes. I want to give props to the guy that jumped off the railing 10 seats down.
Thinking that was going to be a ricochet.
The ball was here, but he thought
it was going to fall in.
Let me jump a story. Let me jump from a second level window. I think it was something. It was
10 feet high.
It was 12, 15 feet. Let me jump off this railing and get down there. Right. I mean, I don't. His thought process wasn't there. I don't know how to do this, but like the clip was insane. It was
Sacrifice the body.
he literally jumped off the railing into the space between the seats and the wall and just full send. And the ball happened to be like 10 seats down from him. Wasn't even close. But it was pretty interesting to see, and I remember laughing our asses off watching that. So it was good. It was good.
Yes. So before we close it out, I want to say congratulations to Stephen Vogt of the Oakland A's.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was
Oakland
awesome.
A's. Steve, if you don't know Stephen Vogt, you probably don't know him unless you're like a fantasy baseball guy
Or an
or
Oakland A's fan.
someone who really watches baseball a lot. Plus, he plays for the A's, so no one knows who plays.
No one
You couldn't
cares.
name 5 guys on
Frankly,
the A's.
no one cares.
Yeah, frankly, no one cares.
Frankly, no one cares.
Stephen Vogt
Yeah, he's
retired
had
at
a
the end of the
career,
year. His
too.
last at bat.
Kids announced his name and
Kids
everything.
announced him walking to the
Which
plate
was
of his
awesome.
last at bat,
It was a little choked up for me. I watched it. I was actually watching that.
and he
Saw
hits
it
a
on
home run.
TikTok, and his kids were announcing his name, his
Yeah.
number, and his final at bat. And
He
you
hits
could
a home
tell
run.
in the emotion when he swung the bat and he was running the bases. You see in his face, he was emotional and he was crying when he got to the home plate. It's just
was
something
awesome.
special. It was awesome.
Batted 239 with 82 home runs and 313 runs batted in. He played for 8 different teams, including the Rays, Athletics, Brewers, Giants, Diamondbacks, Braves, and back to the Athletics.
Good for him. I'm happy for his. That's a good way to go out, a la Ted Williams, who hit a home run in his final at bat before he retired. So, congratulations, Stephen Vogt. It was awesome to see. When your kids come in there and you hit a home run, that was actually a pretty cool moment. And they swept the Angels too.
That's also
The last 3 games of the
Yeah.
season. Who? Listen, I'm going to say one more thing before we go.
Oh God, here we go. I already know what's coming out.
No. The best baseball player on the planet is Shohei Ohtani. No doubt. No one's. But the best offensive player in the league is Aaron freaking Judge. And if he doesn't win the MVP, it's going to be an absolute travesty. Nobody is taking anything away from Shohei Ohtani. I don't care how you justify it. I don't care about the pitching. Aaron Judge had the greatest offensive season in the history of baseball. Out of 10 tracked categories in Major League Baseball, Aaron Judge led in 9. The only thing he did not lead in was batting average,
And that was
and he
from
finished
Matt.
4 100ths of a point behind Arias from the Minnesota Twins, who hit 315. Judge hit 311 because he kept making those stupid outs at the end of trying to hit that home run.
Shortstop.
He almost won the Triple Crown.
Almost.
But listen, shame on the California or the Anaheim, wherever city you're claiming this year. Shame on you, Angels, because you have 2 of the greatest baseball players in the history of the game on your team, and you can't even get one of them or both of them to a playoff game. Mike Trout, who is arguably the best player of our generation, has never seen the postseason except on television.
Everyone wants to see.
That's a crime.
Everyone wants to see postseason Trout.
Dude,
Mike Trout needs to go to Philly.
do you know he hit 40 home runs this year?
Yeah.
No.
Not everybody, you didn't know that?
I didn't.
He hit 40 freaking home runs this year. And by the way, home run number 40 was the other night against Oakland. He hit that shit 500 feet, dude.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah, it was an absolute
Wow.
bomb.
Oh, I remember seeing
Yeah.
that.
Straightaway center, like 4 decks up.
Yeah,
it was
4
awesome.
decks up. And that's a football stadium.
It was
mind
great
you.
to see him healthy again because the dude's magic. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's scary to say that he's not even the best baseball player on his team. Now, he's a better hitter than Ohtani, but Ohtani being that great of a pitcher as he is,
I mean,
Just
it's
makes him
ridiculous.
great.
What's his 90 time is ridiculous, right? His 90-foot time.
Yep.
Like,
dude, Ohtani's
he's
awesome,
fast.
dude.
I
But
mean,
Aaron Judge is the American League MVP. That's it. Shame on you, Angels. Do something to make your team better because you got money tied up in guys like Alex Rondon, who's who hasn't even played a full season since he's been in.
Nader
freaking-
agrees. Trout to Philly.
Yeah, listen, Trout's a
Trout,
Jersey guy.
Harper.
He's from I don't know exactly what town. I think it's Vernon, New Jersey, or it's right around Cherry Hill where Trout's from. So he's a Philly guy. He's a big Eagles fan. He has season tickets because he's off every fall anyway. He ain't playing in the World Series, so he gets to go to all the Eagles games.
One more thing I want to touch on though, I thought it was pretty cool. Right, the Giants perfect 500 season, 500 season exactly 500. So that was pretty cool. I didn't know that you could even do that. You could be exactly 500. So what was it? It's 80 games, 80.
What's that? Oh no, 81
Giants.
games.
Giants are exactly 500.
81 and 81.
They won. Yeah. They won.
But last year they won 107 games, and this year they were 80. They only won 81.
Speaking of the other Giants, it's the first time that the Giants and Green Bay play in London. It's the first time that First time that two teams
Winning
go to
records.
London with winning records.
Wow, I saw that.
I also you want to drop some football about the games in London. Every season that every time the Giants have played in London 3 times, they made the playoffs that year.
Oh.
Giants were
I
3-1, just saying. And I'm going to boldly predict the New York Giants will beat the Green Bay Packers on Sunday. They're going to pound them into the ground.
Patriots should have beat them this Sunday.
4 yards in a cloud of dust, baby. Giants are going to run the ball down the Packers' throat. But that's for another podcast, Officially Offsides. Go check it out, guys. Kev, Mike, and B-Mac doing a great job with that. And we'll be back next Wednesday. And don't forget, next Thursday, October 13th at 4 p.m., the B3 crew will be live at the Hot Rod Cafe at 114 Bank Street in historic downtown New London waterfront. We're going to be broadcasting the ALDS game number 2. We're going to be there all afternoon, all evening. We're going to have happy hour specials, wing specials. Come out and have a beer with us, talk baseball, watch the show, watch the games with us. It's going to be a great time. And Joe, I know you're going to be there. JT, I know you're going to be there. Nader, if we can get Nader off his couch, he'll be there.
I might get some
He hurt his back.
I might come down.
Joe's going to come
wings.
in and fire down some wings, so it'll be a great time. Next Thursday, 4 o'clock, Hot Rods, New London, Connecticut. Come check us out. So until next time, for Joey Stats, Dylan, the man Fryer, JT in the producer's booth, I am Scottso Fryer. Until next time, guys, we miss you. We love you. We'll see you at Hot Rods next Thursday. Have a great night.
SeatGeek.
Oh, yeah. My life used to be quite boring. Just sitting on the couch, at the office, the occasional restaurant. But now, wow, I'm living the dream. This week alone, whew, I've been to 2 basketball games and a concert. I've never felt more alive in my life. Get your seat tickets to sports, concerts, and live events. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
Use code BronxBBB.
$1.99, $200. Here it is. The treasure is down there. Well, start digging. Quicker. Dig quicker. Here, drink a Red Bull. That's better. Can you see it? How much is there? Hello? Have you found the treasure? Hello? Hello?
Red Bull gives you wings.